Hello and welcome everyone to our weekly Dungeons and Dragons game. I'm going to lead in with a message from one of our live viewers, Spigot-san, who's saying, what shenanigans will our intrepid band of scallywags get up to today?
I love the word scallywag.
Absolutely. That's why I wanted to introduce our scallywags, starting with yourself.
I'm
Scallywag
Elaine.
number 1.
Oh, Elaine.
Scallywag number 2.
I'm Emma.
Scallywag number 3.
I'm still Paul.
And Scallywag number 17.
I would be Ross.
Wow, he's dropped down the league table.
About time.
I hope you're all having a very good time today. We're about to have a good time, and we hope you're gonna have a good time with us, whether you're watching us on YouTube or live on Twitch. Why don't we jump straight into what happened in the previous session? So, previously on Waterdeep Dragon Heist, our companion...
You didn't do the voice. Previously on Waterdeep Dragon Heist.
Okay, I'm sorry.
Do you want me to do it?
Yeah. As Rogan.
Previously on Waterdeep. Yeah. That's not Rogan. That's like his uncle or something.
I'm sure we're going to hear a lot more about Rogan's uncle.
Uncle Morbash.
He did a lot of film work back in the day.
Was his first name Ray by any chance?
Right, it was Ray Winston. It was Ray Winston's his uncle. Yeah, that's
Okay.
that's what it was.
Okay, good.
Successfully derailed the intro. You're welcome, everyone. You're welcome.
All right, I'll try and do Uncle Ray justice. Previously on Waterdeep Dragon Heist.
Waterdeep Dragon Heist.
Okay.
This is
God.
going so well.
I should have gone Cockney. I
It's
knew
a
it.
Waterdeep Dragon
Waterdeep.
Heist.
Vorige keer.
Sorry, we'll behave.
Paul, do you want to chip in with a Waterdeep Dragon Heist and then let F actually do?
I'm trapped in this alternate Mary Poppins now. I don't know what's going on.
I'm gonna have a drink.
I needed. Oh
blimey.
God.
Oh no!
I-
Oh no! I've
There's the
spilled
rum.
liquid
Oh, no.
all over myself.
It's because we're stressing you out. Sorry.
It's fine. This is a good intro. I'm happy with it. Previously on Waterdeep Dragon Heist. Our companions.
Oh no, the police are here. How long we've done?
It was
Oh,
Uncle
no.
Ray. It wasn't me. It was Uncle Ray.
We're in Snatch now. Or layer cake.
I can't believe I'm going to say this line again. Previously on Waterdeep Dragon Heist, our companions have been tasked with finding Floon Blagmar, a friend of Volotham Gadam, who went missing. After a brief investigation in the dock ward, they discovered that Floon was mistaken for Renner Neverember, the son of the former Open Lord of Waterdeep. The Jantarum thugs thought Renner knows the location of an artifact called the Stone of Galore, but before they could interrogate Renner and Floon, they were intercepted by another group of bandits who owe their allegiance to the Xanathar Guild. Together with Renner, who our companions rescued, they descended into Waterdavian sewers in hopes that Floon, who's still missing and mistaken for Renner, is still alive. After a brief encounter with a murderous floating grapefruit, that's right, murderous floating grapefruit, they found a bandit hideout and successfully sneaked past the goblin sentries. A dangerous path now lies ahead. Just to say,
Not complicated at all. It's fine. It's
No.
a normal time for all of us to end up in a sewer.
everything's perfectly fine and normal. Just to set the scene, there's in what is effectively a tunnel with some stairs leading up. It's quite narrow, it's quite damp, it's quite smelly, and there's a sleeping goblin behind you. And you can't see anything very far ahead because the stairs lead up. And then just after that, you can see that there's a pathway leading to the right, and after that your view is blocked.
So we should still be quiet, I guess.
Yes.
Do we want to be some stairs folks, or do we want to take a turn?
We're not gonna spend another 10 minutes discussing it. Let's just walk up the stairs,
Okay,
please.
I'm going
Yes.
up the stairs.
Go up the
Yes.
stairs.
Quietly, but quietly. Can we all? I've got like a a bachelor's degree in being quiet. I don't know if the rest of you have.
I'm also very good at being quiet. It's one of my many skills.
If you're
I
not
will
familiar
attempt-
with Rogan Morbash, he's not at all good at being quiet.
Rogan
Well-
Morbash, just like as a quick point of note, is he's wearing full chainmail
Oh, no.
and has a loud booming orcish voice. So
What was
So it just makes
the
it
order in which
clinky.
we were walking? So I think Eris was going first, right?
That makes sense.
If
We can,
Rogan,
reshuffle if we'd like to reshuffle.
Yeah.
Now you lead the way.
yeah, go.
Okay, here I go. I head up some stairs, but really quietly, and so quietly that everyone's impressed.
So you head up the stairs and you see a long tunnel leading towards the right. At the end of that tunnel, there is a shoddy-looking wooden door. I mean, it's quite far away. I'd say it's about, let me do some imaginary maths right now. 40 feet away. Just about 40 feet away, there's a very shoddy-looking wooden door because just, even at that distance, you can see that it's just barely hanging on its hinges. There's some holes in it, and the light from whatever it's behind, a faint light, a very faint light, but the light from whatever is behind that door is coming through multiple points of entry.
Okay, my immediate thought is that's 40 foot of potential trouble. So I'd like to move up to the door and maybe listen at the door, or if there's a crack to peek through or peek under, try that. But first of all, if there is anything that looks vaguely like a pressure plate or a suspicious hole out of which a blade comes, or something that swings or drops, Aris is also familiar with contraptions like that and is keeping one eye out for that at the same time.
Fantastic. Whilst Marche's
Sorry.
quietly choking,
Oh, my
trying
tea.
not to wake up the goblin.
I shouldn't have had a cup of tea down in the sewer, really.
No, you are keeping a good eye out on, like everything. You're familiar with this stuff. It's not your first time in a sewer. You've set up some of these traps yourself in the past, so you know what's going on. But there isn't no warning, sort of, no spider sense is tingling. Nothing is telling you, oh, I just about see a race plate, or like there's a really thin wire. None of that is immediately visible to you. And I'm guessing you're slowly making your way towards that door, right?
Yes.
Well,
If I'm the last, then did everyone else go up the stairs as well, or
I think so.
is there enough room for us all? to go up?
Yeah. You can all go single file. That's fine.
Yeah.
I want to
we
keep
follow.
looking back down the stairs to see if we're being followed or someone is.
Well, you're all being very quiet. I will remind viewers who maybe missed last episode that just at the end of the last session, there was a sneaking check, and that sneaking check produced 3 critical successes. Obviously, crits don't count for skill checks, but it's still like a really good result for everyone. So you are all being exceptionally quiet. And
I think it counts for 3 natural
yeah.
20s.
No, that was pretty good. You can't take that away from you. You're all being very quiet, and even Rogan, who's a hulking mess of armor and bad common sense, is managing to somehow just keep it together and not let his loudness get in the way.
don't get used to it.
I'm sure I won't.
I'm still a goblin, right?
You are still a goblin. Yes.
Okay,
We
cool.
should remind everyone that Elaine has cast a spell of disguise self to look like a very tall goblin. Sorry, not Elaine, Marche. Marche isn't very tall to begin with. How tall is Marche?
Like 5 foot.
Like 5 foot. Okay. So
Like a normal height.
yeah, so he's a 4 foot goblin, effectively, just following along like nobody's business. Yeah, you reach the end of that tunnel and you see a door, and since you're keeping an eye out and an ear out, you can peek through the little holes in the door and notice that in front of you, what lies ahead is a wondrously empty and barren room.
Can we see where the light's coming from? in the
Yeah,
room?
there's a couple of like candlestick holders hanging on the walls, and the candles are alit, which shows you that this is inhabited by someone. But so far, aside from those two goblins that you've seen, there's not been any sign of anything really.
Interesting.
Yeah, but yeah. Do you open the door?
Can I do it?
Very, very quietly and cautiously. There seems to be like some kind of room beyond then.
Yes. You think so? It's hard to tell because you only have little gaps in the door to peer through.
Okay, yeah, no, Aris will do his best to cautiously, carefully open this door with the awareness that it is probably going to creak and shake and whatnot.
Yeah. The door creaks a little bit, but you're still very good. You're still very sneaky. And as you open the door, you notice that there's a couple of features that you weren't able to see from before, just peering through a little hole, because they were sort of obfuscated by the darkness and a lack of a good field of view. But there's effectively just some like straw mats and like dirty mattresses and some personal belongings that don't look like they just look like crap. Honestly, I'm not gonna belabor the point. It's just some crap that people keep next to their straw mats where they sleep. You can't imagine what kind of people would sleep here, but they do sleep
Yeah.
here.
How long
Well,
are the mats? Sorry.
Oh, no, that's a good question.
Sorry, what's
How long are the mats?
so
like-
so the mats are like just normal mats.
Okay.
They are just normal mats.
They're not giant
Suggesting-
mats.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, they're definitely not giant.
Okay.
They're normal, what you would sleep on mats.
Okay.
Are there any other exits from the room or any doors that seem to lead elsewhere?
Yes, there is. So just across the room, directly across diagonally, there is another exit leading in leading in the same direction as you were going. And suddenly you hear a loud thud that just
Oh.
comes out of the room, and then you hear someone going, just push that bookcase over the door and you'll be able to keep it back in. And there's another voice that goes, shut up. I know what I'm doing, okay? I've dealt with these things before.
Ooh. Ooh.
From the
Where does
direction of the other door?
Yeah, from the direction of the other door.
That doesn't sound good.
But we can't
Cor-
see what
so-
this is.
Currently, at this point, like, is Aris on his own having crept into this room? Or are we all just like leaning over his shoulder?
Looking
I
through
guess we're
his,
all like,
through his legs.
we're all just with you. Being like,
I imagine, like, yeah, Aris has maybe just taken one or two steps in and looked around, and like this looks like a place where people are.
so I guess
squatting
we're
or
like we're
almost-
still technically like in.
It's spilling through the gaps. Just push it back in.
Aris,
I
can you see?
wanna-
Can you? Where's that voice coming from?
I'm extremely interested as to where this voice is coming from, so I want to try and speed tiptoe like Scooby-Doo style across the room. That's exactly it. And if there are more cracks or anything in the other door, try and peep through, or otherwise,
The door is
Aris
slightly
is fairly confident.
the door is slightly ajar already, so you wouldn't
Right.
even need to look for cracks. What you observe is one, strangely, you didn't expect this, familiar face. If you remember all the way back to your accidental bar brawl in the Yawning Portal, all the way back in session 1, there was a man called Krentz that attacked a half orc called Yagra and provoked a bar brawl. That man, Krentz, is pushing what seems to be a bookcase. And when I say pushing, he's literally trying to keep it in front of what seems to be a lavatory. And together with him, there is a what looks like an ashen-skinned dwarf, also trying to help him and push that bookcase in. They're both like giving it all they have, and through the cracks of that lavatory, there seems to be something trying to emerge. It's like a slimy.
So they have a lavatory in the sewer.
Yeah, why wouldn't you have a lavatory in the sewer?
I don't know, because you just go in the sewer.
Well, it's their bathroom here.
Okay.
They have a bathroom.
You forget the
here.
sewer's also one of the entranceways. So
Yeah,
I don't know how you live, Elaine, but
No, sorry.
Rogan would probably expect there to be a lavatory.
Just
And to
plug
have
the gap
clean-
with the blankets.
Okay, let's go, right? Because I think we've listened enough.
What do you think, Marche? You want to speak to them, or would you just go? Do you mean like leave?
No, perhaps I should speak to them. I mean,
Would you
think
like me
this
to go? Would you like me
this
to go have a
space
word?
No.
would be an advantage or a disadvantage?
I think Marche has the best point. I think, yeah. As in goblin form, maybe possibly. I don't know if that's the common goblin accent that you currently have, but
Oh, all right. Could do another one.
Is that
Yes,
you,
Shane?
father?
I think Marche could. Yeah, this could be some information gathering. I'll wait just out of sight in case something goes wrong, which it definitely won't, but in case it hypothetically does.
Okay.
Oh, okay. So I tippy tap up to the door.
Do you go through the door?
I go through the door, right? I just open the door, right? Yes.
Good. Okay. So you
Sure.
open the door. You call.
I say hello.
They go. And look back at you.
It's the poshest goblin they've ever met.
Goblin, come here.
I go over to them.
Jump into this toilet, and then see if you can appease this ooze.
No.
We'll make a gap for you.
You make a what?
I'll make a gap for you.
Gap.
Yes, a gap. So you can get
A
in,
gap.
and then we'll see. After it dissolves you, we'll see if that's enough to get rid of it.
I see. No. I say no. But perhaps I have some friends with me. They could perhaps help.
What kind of friends? Says the dwarf, ashen-skinned dwarf.
Excellent friends.
What are you talking about, Goblin?
They're extremely good at dealing with ooze.
He takes out, the dwarf takes out what is effectively a giant axe. And,
Oh, I say.
yeah, and he says, if you're not gonna get into that toilet, I will chop your head off and toss it into the ooze.
Chaps?
Yeah, I want to go through the door and say, like, can I charm the guy that's taking out the axe?
Right. Okay. So I think at this point where we'll have to roll initiative, and you can do anything in initiative order. But if you are charging into the room, they're gonna see you. Like so, I'll give you and not Marche a round of surprise because they didn't know that you were here, and I think they're still being they're still trying to push the whole wardrobe and hold it together. Hold the thing
They got their hands
from
full.
emerging. Yeah, but yeah, they got their hands full. So they definitely didn't expect anyone to charge in. They were like slightly taken aback by the goblin and confused by the whole situation. And you were being very sneaky, so there's definitely a surprise round for the three of you, not for Marche. Okay. Let me make some initiatives for the folks involved.
So an ooze, eh?
It is definitely an ooze.
Perhaps he's open to a bit
Ooze
of
sandals.
chitter-chatter. Ooh, sandals. Ah. I can
Maybe
help
he
with
just wants a
that.
pair of sandals.
Perhaps he does. Sewer sandals.
Yeah,
Yes. Perhaps he
specifically
does.
for oozes.
I
The
mean-
ooze.
Do they even have feet, per se?
They need more sandals to cover the entire floor they're oozing on.
Just an entire ball of sandals.
Sandals, yeah.
A
I'm sorry,
sandal
but
ball.
what actually is an ooze? We didn't have that where I was from. What is this thing?
Have a look
people
through
are
the
speaking
door.
of?
You can see the ooze bursting out of the.
I'd
the
rather
lavatory.
not touch anything down here if I don't have to.
That seems wise.
It doesn't look friendly.
In
How could
Okay.
it look friendly or not friendly if it's an ooze, though?
Marche, what's your initiative?
3.
Uh-huh.
Oh boy.
Aha. God blimey.
a lot of effort into being a Cockney goblin.
Rogan, what's your initiative?
It is a 20, not a crit, but a
Blimey.
20.
That's pretty good. Gina
Gina's ready.
Mine is an 8.
and Aris?
7.
7. Can I have a reroll from you, Aris?
Oh,
Just a straight roll of the die for me, please.
okay. Do I want to get high or low? I've got
Hi.
I've got 19 just
There
as
you
a
go.
bald
Okay. That's good. That's
number
good,
by
thank you.
itself.
You
Is
must have
it-
been tying with someone. I
Okay.
think you were tying with someone, so just breaking the tie.
Yeah. If
the
you just give me a
ooze.
second, I will make myself a nice little chart, and we can proceed with.
I think Rogan's just starting to get like an axe off his back,
I hope we
getting
can
ready,
resolve this.
getting ready for a conversation of sorts with these folk.
I mean, I wonder if they are supposed to be here themselves.
Maybe they
Ah.
accidentally released the ooze.
Yeah, possibly. Yeah.
We can pretend to be there. No, just kidding.
Well, I mean, I like Gina's idea of trying to charm someone and deal with this in a
Civilized
yes.
manner.
Yeah.
Yes.
I mean, Rogan would be open to that, but unfortunately for everyone else, Rogan's got
Gonna go
going
first.
first. So, I mean,
Oh, no.
Rogan would probably go for some level of intimidation. If someone draws an axe on one of his companions, he's not going to react well to that. He's going to see someone drawing an axe and become quite defensive.
Right. So I assumed that you were all waiting by the door, and Aris was in front. Rogan was right next to him, and Gina was
Yeah.
behind. Yes.
Right.
It was
Okay.
between the legs as a
Yeah.
small.
Okay. Okay. Even in that situation, you all could get pretty much in front of anyone you wanted, apart from the wardrobe that's blocking the toilet, because that is right now just behind Krentz and the ashen-skinned dwarf. So you couldn't get to that wardrobe because it's blocked off by them. But just a single move action would get you towards anyone you wanted. Starting with Rogan, who's going first.
So and obviously there was a draw of the axe and there was a threat. Did they seem aggressive, or did it seem kind of quite passive in what terms they were saying? I know chopping someone's head is not a passive statement, but did it feel
Yeah.
like they were actually meaning they were going to do it, or they were just trying to encourage this person to action?
They were ready to sacrifice that goblin, fully knowing that it wouldn't emerge from the ooze, and they didn't sound like they were good people, if that makes sense, right?
Sure. All right. Well, I guess I'll be going towards to at least be defensive in front of Marche, but I suppose I should probably strike the one with an axe. I think I'm gonna just, if they're threatening to chop off my friend's head, I think I'm just gonna go in for a blow straight away with my battle axe.
Okay, so you're charging with your battle axe for the dwarf straight up.
Yeah.
Okay, go for it.
Okay. All right. I have to just roll for an attack now. So I got a roll of 17. Oh,
So, you're lucky. Oh, sorry. You should have advantage, by the way, because you've got the element of surprise.
okay. Well, I just rolled a 19 again.
Hey,
sorry.
I mean,
am I adding my strength to this because it's an attack?
you're adding a 5 to it. Yeah, I believe. Normally you add your strength and your proficiency. Yes.
Yeah.
Your character sheet on D&D Beyond should have whatever weapon you're using.
I'm blanking. Oh, I should be rolling a different die, shouldn't I? Because I'm doing a battle axe attack, which is actually a D8.
So Ross, for an attack modifier, you roll a d20 and then you'll roll some damage if you hit. Yeah. So yeah. Okay.
So to add to my I add my strength, and do I also actually add the proficiency bonus as well?
You do.
Okay, so that'd be 24 then.
Woof.
Okay, well,
Finally.
24. Right. Okay, you're basically a leaping, charging menace of an orc, just going in there with an axe, and you're not gonna hold back.
Step away from my friend.
Please give me a damage roll. So once again, if you look under the weapon on your D&D Beyond character sheet,
it's my D8. I just gotta find my D8.
it'll tell you what you add to that D8.
D8 plus 5. Gotta check me dice.
Double pyramid.
Where's
Yeah.
Have you lost your D8? Oh,
It's hiding in my bag somewhere.
Oh, that's
That's
amazing.
Lost in all the gold coins.
Such a classic D&D moment.
It's in all my money.
I'm just going to the bathroom real quick.
There it is. Got it, folks. It's just hidden amongst all my wealth. Don't worry about it. All right, so that is a 11.
Wow. Okay. So,
I don't like it.
so what you have is a dwarf who is sandwiched between a battle axe and a wardrobe that is being pushed upon him with by a grey ooze. Like, you thwart him, basically. I'm not gonna say you chop into him. I'm gonna say, with the blunt horizontal side of the axe, you just whack his head. He goes bam against the wardrobe. Like, there's books. Apparently these people read. There's books flying on top of his head. It's chaos everywhere. He didn't expect that at all. So that's a hefty chunk of
Rogan
hit points
was trying
that
to
you've
think
taken
something
out.
pithy to say. By Rogan, I mean me. And instead he was just going to say, like, sit down. That was about as smart as a thing you could come out with them on the head.
I mean, that's pretty good, right?
Sit down.
I heard
a
that
lot
was
of hit
amazing.
points.
From the bathroom, I heard that was amazing.
It was 11 hit points, Elaine.
Wow.
Which is a lot. Next up,
Rogan is very angry because this is gross. All around him is just filth. He doesn't like it.
Yeah.
He wants to get this wrapped up.
next up, it's Gina.
Oh, really? Well,
Yeah,
charming is probably not going to work anymore. So
doesn't sound like it.
No, so I think I will just go ahead and try and help Rogan. What did Krenzo do when Rogan attacked?
So at the moment, in the blink of an eye that this is happening, what Krentz is doing is like,
What's happening?
right? That's
Yeah.
that's
Rogan's
all.
bust in the room and just knocked out his mate, and he's like,
Yeah, pretty much.
Is the guy just is the dwarf incapacitated, or just kind of like stunned-ish?
Stunned-ish. Yeah, yeah. Surrounded by
I
books.
will just cast Vicious Mockery from a safe distance. And I will yell. Let me see. What will I yell?
Sit
I
down.
take out my notebook to see like my previously written down insults, but because sometimes it just needs a spar.
Yeah. You need to consult.
I
Yeah.
like
So
the
I'm just
idea that
gonna-
this bard, like, I've run in just to knock someone out, and you're just quickly flicking through a book for some pithy put downs, buying some time.
Not even the wondrous notes of my lute could fix your voice.
Burn.
Give me an attack roll. Can't believe I'm
you
following
need
that
to
sentence with give me an attack roll, but give me an attack roll. Oh no, it's a
Succeed a wisdom saving throw.
It's a saving throw. I'm an idiot. Of course it is.
Yes.
And it's against 13, isn't it?
Let me check. 13, yes.
And this is against Krentz, right?
Yes.
I mean, he's just like, why? And then he goes, wait a minute. I know you.
Mm-hmm.
So, what's the damage here? What are we doing?
1d4 of psychic damage and have disadvantage on the next attack roll it makes before the end of.
That's
Why don't you
helpful.
give me a damage roll, please?
That's 2.
It's 2 damage.
I like the thud that your dice make because they're
Dunk.
enormous.
And
This
I have a
granite
dice
size.
tray, but I just rolled it there. So he also has a disadvantage on the next attack roll it makes before the end of its next turn.
Yep, got that. Brilliant. Okay, next up, it's Aris. Aris, you still have advantage.
Arus.
Great. So we have one very offended person and one, hopefully, I want to say, like, if you've taken 11 points of damage, hopefully that shows.
Mm-hmm.
Because if you've taken 11...
I mean, he has a giant lump on his head now.
Oh, no.
There's certain creatures that take that amount of damage and are not phased, and I'm hoping to not meet any of those creatures. I would like to add to those 11 points of damage, but try and do like non-lethal damage. If I can strike that guy with the flat of my sword, because I don't feel like immediately necessarily killing these people.
Mm-hmm.
And Aris is a nice young man.
Mm-hmm. I believe you.
So if I can slip past, it's true, Rogan, and either, the pommel of the short sword or the flat of the blade or something might finish this person off. Is this an attack with advantage? Sorry?
Yes, it is. It is.
All right. Right. That's a 16. That's a 17. So that's slightly better. 17. That's 22. That's very good.
Oof.
That is.
I
It's a
mean-
finesse weapon, and so I get a dex bonus.
I give me a damage roll.
Sounds like
I
you've ran
will.
along the wall a little bit in this move, really finessing it out.
I'm quite impressed
Like a
because
little
my
ballet
initiative
move.
was quite slow.
Mm.
Well, hey, I gave you a surprise round, didn't I?
8 damage.
8 damage. Right. Okay.
Taking 19 damage. Please tell me he falls over. Otherwise,
was
he's
that
very
with
tough
sneak
and I'm
attack?
Scared. That was. You know what? That would probably make sense given the context of me sort of bursting forward, which means I would
Yeah.
add an extra d6.
You would.
Okay, so that's an extra 3.
Well,
So that's 12,
I mean,
I think.
yes, it is. That is. Let me just consult my chart of wisdom. I mean, you just thwunk this dwarf over the head, and like where there was one lump, now there's suddenly a second lump. There's 2 lumps. He's looking more and more like Gary Oldman in Dracula.
That's a callback.
I mean, because of his ashen skin and everything as well, right? So that
Not his clothing.
no, not his clothing. His clothing looks significantly not as well to do as Gary Oldman in Dracula. He looks raggedy in terms of clothing. It's like a patchy armor that's been clearly, used, and not in a good way. And when I say not in a good way, battles and stuff like that. And he looks like he's been beat up a few times, and he's probably beat up a lot of people also quite a few times. So yeah, doesn't look salubrious, if that makes sense. So yeah, I mean, you've put in a second lump, and by now he's just going like that, right? So you haven't knocked him out yet.
Oh boy. Oh,
No. But you look like both of you have, run over and stunned him and significantly impacted his well-being, mental state, and maybe his state of anger as well. We'll see what happens in the next round.
Probably.
Talking of next round, the surprise round is over, and
Oh, what?
and now we go back
yeah,
to.
I didn't get that, did I?
Yeah, no, you did not get that. We now go back to Rogan, who is at the top of initiative again.
All right, well, I'm just like, as I'm towering over this person who's holding lumps on their heads, I'm just gonna try and hit them with the blunt of my axe again, just to actually finally put them down.
Go for it. Give me an attack roll.
All right, that is 17.
That's together with your attack modifier, yeah? Okay.
Oh yeah, I
So-
have my proficiency. Sorry, so that's 19.
There we go. That's definitely, yeah, you got there. You clouded him. I mean, this guy's just he didn't even get a chance to speak. He's just,
Just got basically, I just walked over to the bookshelf. I got a hardback, and I stuck it on the edge of my axe, and I just hit him on the top of the head with it. And let's just see how much damage that was. Yeah, that's gonna do 13 damage. Hardbacks, they're called hardbacks for a reason.
13.
13. I rolled an 8 on a d8.
So you didn't get a book, open it, and bore him to death with whatever was in the book.
Rogan's not big on reading.
Poetry by Rogan.
You know what? 13 damage. I'm gonna say.
lonely as a cloud. No, it's not.
I'm gonna say that what happened was that basically you put that book on and you whacked him over the head, and your axe went straight through that book, and then also straight through that dwarf. I know you wanted to knock him out, but it lodged itself into him, and
no.
he.
I might have had a little accident here, everyone. I'm sorry, gang.
I mean, I'm not saying you killed him, but he's definitely unconscious, and you definitely had to take an axe out of a big wound. So he's on the floor. Yeah.
I'm just gonna wipe Max on his shirt or something just to clean it up. I don't want any of his blood on it.
Okay.
It's a nice act.
Hey, guess what happens next? You just took out the guy that was holding the wardrobe.
Mm-hmm.
The wardrobe falls over. Boom!
Yep.
And there's suddenly this slime just going like a sea onto the room, and like the speed at which it is emerging from the lavatory is like you would expect this to be, like treacle just slowly moving, but this is like suddenly engulfing the territory and going straight over the wardrobe. Not the wardrobe, the bookcase. I don't know why. It's a wardrobe, it's a bookcase. It keeps changing. Let's say it's a bookcase because there's books on it. I don't know why there would be books on the wardrobe.
It's a multi-use piece of furniture.
Yeah, exactly.
It's not an IKEA useful things.
It's a war bookcase.
With books about war.
Yeah, and it's as it's going over this fantastically versatile piece of furniture, you can see the wood just splintering and like almost like crackling and crisping and disappearing as the ooze like eventually engulfs this wardrobe, and then after that starts like engulfing the dwarf as well. There's also, you notice, a couple of skeletons in the ooze itself. They're sort of like semi like the ooze is semi-translucent, and they were clearly things at one point. They don't look like they were big things. They look about, I don't know, like children or that about that size. And there's, like bones,
goblin size.
Yeah, bones sort of floating around that if you like pushed one way and pushed another way, you could almost form them into a cohesive skeleton. But they're just bones now.
Okay.
And there's a couple of them there.
What's Renner doing? I totally forgot that we're
Oh yeah, we have Renner. I should roll an initiative for him.
chaperoning Renner through this whole situation.
Yeah. Yeah, Renner is also here.
What is Renner thinking to this? I don't like this ooze. What is this? I don't like this.
Yeah, just bear with me. I'm a bad GM, and I might have accidentally forgotten about Renner. I don't know why.
Renner's tying his shoelaces at the bottom of the stairs. He's just taking a while.
Yeah.
He's wearing sandals. He doesn't need shoelaces.
Okay. He's got a stone. He's got a stone under his sandal.
It's reasonable to assume that he kept back given what was happening. That's not unrealistic.
We've just barreled in. He didn't sign up necessarily to be just going in rooms and hitting people with hardbacks.
Yeah,
That's not what he said. Oh, he said he was doing.
I have so many ooze questions right now.
What's your most oozing question?
No, I just mean like the way this is described, I'm wondering exactly how big this is and how much of it there is. And then I'm also just wondering like what color is it and does it smell? And like at this point, Aris is just thinking if there's this dwarf on the ground that we've just pummeled, we should maybe pick up the dwarf and move away with them. And
I was more thinking we could just step on the dwarf and jump over and carry on.
So
like a floor is lava kind of thing.
Yeah, and they're a very soft cushion that we just use to carry on with.
the ooze is grey.
Ooh.
It's
My
definitely
favorite color.
very grey. The smell that it's emitting reminds you of a rotten egg, and you know, also sewage because it came out of the toilet. So
Makes sense.
it's just part of its natural environment, and it looks slightly reflective but translucent, slightly glistening, and not in a way you would want to touch. You suspect bad things happen when you touch it.
Yeah, that would be consistent.
Now you should have bought the sandals.
No.
So it's now the ooze's turn, and as it sort of emerged onto this wardrobe, it will fire these sort of like these sort of sticky protrusions like come out of its, I want to say body, like mass, you know, like it just, you know, like when you had this like putty as a child, like this sort of oozing thing. Imagine that a ball of that is being thrown at you, but that ball still has like a cohesive line that forms itself, bonds itself to the main body, right? It's not like independent of it. Yeah. So that shoots at Rogan.
Like a yo-yo.
Like a yo-yo,
Okay.
yeah. Like an oozy yo-yo. And that shoots at Rogan.
Yo-yo.
Rogan, this is an attack with 17 versus AC.
That's beat my armor class. I've got 16.
Okay. So that is 3 points of regular damage and also 6 points of acid damage.
No.
That's 9 points of damage. Very nice.
Yeah, as this thing splashes onto you, and suddenly you can feel that it is corroding your armor, and there's this like noise happening as the thing is, you know, bubbling on your armor and like melting it slightly and making what is effectively a hole, you know, that is exposing your chest. Thankfully, it stops after a while, but there's now like this patch that people can literally see through, you know, not in a kind of a bad way, not in a revealing way, but like, you know, if they wanted to stick a sword in there, they could, is what I'm saying.
Marche, use one of your special potions on this ooze.
It's also worth noting that you now take a permanent -1 penalty to AC until you replace your armor.
Oh, boy.
Well, that seems reasonable enough. It does have a massive hole in it.
Yep. And that is the ooze done. Next up, we have Renner, who is going to, like, he's just standing there dumbstruck at what's happening in the doorway, and he looks to himself and goes, I guess I didn't need the sword anyway. Takes out a saber and just runs up to the ooze and starts hacking into it, like, you know, trying to peel that sticky thing that's burning a hole in you, you know, like off, and just hacking into the ooze like crazy, just going at it. He is unfortunately not particularly good at doing. Oh no, yeah, he is. No, the ooze's AC is rubbish, so he's just hacking into it. And
I like the fact that the ooze's armor class is low because it's ooze, so you would imagine it would be pretty
an ooze.
solid.
Huge lump of goo.
yeah.
Mm.
So the good news is that he hacked into the ooze a little bit, and that's fine. The bad news is that you can see that it's now corroding Renner's rapier.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And that's his turn done. Next up, it's Gina.
Hi. Yeah.
We really need to get out of here.
Perhaps you could try and charm him.
Mm.
Oh, it's not a humanoid, so I think
Oh.
that's gonna be tricky. But thunder waving would also be a bad idea, because then maybe I throw people into it. Maybe not.
They don't do that.
So I think I would just mock him.
Oh yeah, the classic.
Hopefully,
Yeah.
The classic
And-
ooze mockery.
yeah,
About
the
to
ooze
start.
mockery. Like, you're not even rainbow.
Go for it.
Sure.
Okay, so I need to. The ooze needs to make a wisdom saving throw, doesn't it? Okay.
Yeah.
Strangely, the ooze is very offended by what you have said, and by very offended, I mean it's sort of like at just the timbre and the vibrancy of your voice seems to be doing something to it, and it's sort of going all like, you know, like it doesn't make a noise.
Jiggly.
Yeah, but it's you know, there's a vibration that you can sense is unpleasant to it. So please give me a damage roll.
Oh, that's only one.
Okay,
Aw.
well, you know, that's something.
As a bonus action, I want to give Rogan a bardic inspiration.
Nice.
Hey.
How does
Af-
bardic inspiration work again? Have I got
So-
advantage? Was it?
You get one inspiration die, so that's a d6, and you can add it to ability check, attack roll, or saving throw.
Thank you very much.
Yes.
Thanks, Gina. I appreciate that.
Use it wisely. No, just
Aris, you're next.
I'm always wise.
There's an ooze next to you, and there's a Rogan next to you.
It really is
Melting
next
away.
to me.
Are there any other exits? Just as I've
Yeah, there
been
is.
scorched.
There is. So by the same side of the wall as the toilet is. So okay. So imagine you went diagonally like that towards the door where the room is in. Now you're going diagonally up towards the toilet, and just down below there's also a door that leads even further away.
I don't know if it's a good idea for us to necessarily go deeper into things, but I don't know.
You've not been acid blasted by this stinking egos.
No, I mean, I don't also know if it's a great idea for us to hang around and keep fighting this. I mean, this is like a fairly large mass of disgusting stuff too, right? My first instinct is, because we've now got an unconscious dwarf nearby, is to try and sort of pick him up and move him out of...
This dwarf is currently underneath the ooze, and the ooze is burning it. If you
It's
wanted,
melting.
yeah,
It's
if you
melting.
wanted to get out the dwarf, you would have to put your arms into the ooze.
Well, so I might just
How
try and-
how good of a person is Aris? Earlier you were like, Aris is a good guy. Burning your own arms to rescue someone who threatened to chop off your friend's head. Good.
Yeah, that's a level of I can't do the ethical calculus right now given everything that's going on. So
It's convenient.
I mean, I'll be honest with you. This dwarf will probably die, but that wouldn't be your fault. It just circumstances. You needed to knock it out. There was a news
Nobody's
behind
fault,
it.
Really.
Yeah.
Things happen. You know
Things
how the
happen.
world is complicated. It's very literally a grey area with a grey ooze.
Oozes be oozing.
Exactly.
Mm-hmm.
I don't want to fight this thing because if it does anything like that to me, Aris doesn't have the constitution to be able to withstand anything. So I feel like just leaving is a good idea. You mentioned there were candlesticks in I think the other room or this room, or if there is anything like a candelabra or a torch in a sconce.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like he would grab one of those and be using that to try and wave at this thing or beat it back rather than plunge a sword in and just watch a sword dissolve.
Mm-hmm.
So if there's anything like that I can
Maybe
grab
we can
to
try and pour salt on it because it's like a big slug.
Okay, so you grab
Bad idea.
you grab a
It's
candlestick with a candle on it, right?
Anything like that I can. I'm
Okay.
hoping that it might react
Yeah.
to fire.
Sure. Okay. What would you like to do with it? You can grab.
Wave
There's
it.
one near you. There's one right next to you. You can just take it. It's a free action. That's your. I do a thing on my turn, kind of free thing. You can still do something with it if you like.
If I can wave it at this thing, particularly between like this thing's gnarly pseudopod and Rogan, something
Okay.
like that.
Okay.
And I'm hoping, like a lot of living creatures, it might respond to fire. I don't know. I don't think Aris has ever seen anything like this before.
No, that's fine. Would you like to make a? Would you like to give me a strength check with plus your proficiency bonus for an unarmed
14.
improvised weapon. Could you roll a d4 for me?
I could. 3.
Okay, so you stick a candle into the ooze, and then the candle goes out.
Oh.
Because
Aris is,
because
I'll
it's
be
it's
frank with you, is a bit scared.
yeah, it's liquid. So you just stuck a candle into some liquid. The candle went out.
I didn't do liquids at Thief University. I did peeping and hiding.
Yeah, I'm sure. I'm sure you did. Next is Krentz. Krentz is like, why wouldn't you just leave me alone? Everywhere I go, you're there.
Oh,
He takes out a scimitar and he just starts waving it at Aris because he's annoyed.
What?
Aris is 9 versus armor class. A hit.
My armor class is 15, so I should be more than okay, but I don't like that.
Well, he's waving his scimitar around, but he's quite shook up and like he's not doing it in a kind of an effective way. He's more like just flabbergasted in the entire situation and going, "What the hell is going on?" And it produces very little that you're scared of or worried about, or for the moment at least. So that's Krentz. Next up, it's the dwarf is dying. Okay, Marche.
Does the dwarf not get to be like in the?
Oh no,
Ow.
you stuck an axe into his chest. No, he's currently covered by an acid-formed ooze.
No?
I don't
Okay.
know what to do here. I don't know if like there's a lot of it.
Yeah.
When in doubt, ask
run.
yourself, what would Marche do?
Mm.
Ha ha.
Get a little beaker out and scoop some up.
Probably. I might do that in a minute once it's dead. All right. I guess we just try and keep killing it, do we?
I think.
Uh,
I
You're not
that's
there.
sensible.
You're not there.
Okay, I'll shut up.
You're the ooze.
I'm not the ooze, okay?
You are. Yes.
You're the ooze, much like you're everything else. You're the walls. You're the floor. You're that dwarf being burned alive. And
You are the
ooze.
world.
You are the
Something
world.
cosmological.
Well,
I feel all of their pains added to them.
this is terrifying. And I sort of pat my like to see what I've got on me.
Utility belt
Yeah,
of potions.
My mache belt, my docume belt, and I say, "All right, Uzi boy, get your laughing gear around this," because I've turned into Rogan's father again, and chuck a firebolt at
Getting
it.
flashbacks.
Okay.
Yeah, right. And that's a 16 plus. I think it's plus
Blimey.
5. Is
Imagine that's the noise.
21.
The noise that it made as you threw it. Woo!
Give me a damage roll as this potion drops onto the ooze and shatters and explodes.
10.
Well, okay.
Damn.
So it does explode, and you can see that it burned a chunk out of the ooze, right? But I will note that you notice that the fire very quickly is being put out by the body of the ooze, if that makes sense, right? Like the body itself of the ooze is putting the fire out. So
Does so what it would oh no, if it isn't being worn or carried, it's the wardrobe. Oh no, the bookcase, whatever. In the ooze isn't being worn or carried, is it?
it's already melted.
Oh, I see.
Like by this
Oh.
point, the wardrobe has already melted.
Okay.
Okay, next up, we are at the top of initiative order. Rogan, it's once again you.
I mean, Rogan's kind of looking around, looking at this burning, searing hole in his chainmail, and kind of thinking, it's probably, should we get out of here? Should we leave? Should we try and leave? That's what I'll be saying to everyone else. And I think he would be...
Renner looks at you and says, Rogan, are you scared? As he's chopping that ooze with his scimitar, just going, bashing it and bashing it.
Rogan's going to say, I'm not scared of anything. However, I have a pressing matter to attend to. In another room, I believe there's someone of great importance I need to have a discussion with. We're on a mission here to rescue, not to fight snot.
You still have Krentz as well in the room. Oh,
Can
remember.
I push Krentz into the ooze?
Ah,
Okay.
Maybe that'll calm the ooze down. We don't know.
Sure. Okay, you're going to make me look up grappling rules.
Not that I've got anything in particular against Krentz.
I've
Well,
got
at
something
this
in
point,
particular
nothing
against
sort
grappling
of
rules.
super supporting him either.
No.
They wanted to sacrifice Marche, so
They were going to chop Marche's head off and throw her in a toilet.
I mean, I'm not so worried about that, but like, once we all started fighting the ooze, he still tried to fight us. Why?
Yeah.
Just fight the
I feel like we're trying to get out of
ooze.
here, and then
just-
the ooze is probably kind of like we can get away from the ooze. But if Krentz is running after us, I'm not too happy about that.
I feel like it's
Well.
like the use to us is terrifying, and to him it's like a vague inconvenience, is the
Okay.
sense I'm getting here.
So I looked up the rules for shoving a creature, which involves you making a strength check.
That's something
so,
that Rogan
so,
can
so
do.
could you please give me a strength check?
Sure. Well, how's that go? That would be 15.
Okay. Yeah, you grab Krentz and shove him into the ooze. I'll
Ugh.
give you that. I will see what that does to Krentz.
Does Krent say anything as he's being pushed into the ooze?
Yeah, he says, ah! As
That's
his
fair.
body starts to get subsumed by the grey ooze, and you can see just as it's being pushed in, you know, there's almost like a line that travels further and further across his body as the more and more he submerges himself into it. Where there was once skin and meat and sinew, there is now white bone and and just armor, and it's quite gruesome, but you just pretty much shoved a dude into acid, so
This is like Who Framed Roger Rabbit.
it is a little bit, yeah.
It is a bit, yeah.
Is he going to come back as the Joker later on?
I wouldn't bet on it.
I wouldn't either. Sorry? I kind of went a little bit. I feel like we're getting off on the wrong foot here. Just
Hey, guess
Gonna have
what?
any feet in a minute.
put an axe into a dwarf that's now in ooze, and then shoved someone into ooze. I feel like I might be getting off on the wrong foot. Could we start over?
He does not respond. It is now the Grey Ooze's turn, which is gonna. I mean, it's gonna fire.
It's next to all of us, isn't it?
Yeah, it's gonna
I
fire one of
didn't
those.
walk in yet because
Okay.
Yeah, you'll head around
Oh,
the
yeah, Gina's
corner,
still at the
throwing,
door.
shouting insults
Profanities.
through a doorway.
Yeah, there's gonna be another one of those sticky things jutting out of it and
Sticky yo-yo.
firing at Renner this time.
It's not
Oh,
happy.
Renner.
It's not happy with the gift I gave it. Is that gift not enough?
What was the gift?
The gift of another living, breathing
Oh, I
human. I've made all the sacrifices I could make.
Renner dodges this. He saw what happened to Rogan, and he's just gonna be like, "Whoa, no way, I'm gonna deal with that." And then he just continues hacking at the ooze. So it's Renner's
He's
turn.
really brave.
Yeah, he's like, "Come on, help me!" And he's just smashing it with his rapier. Rapier? What has he got? He's got a rapier.
Rapier.
Yes.
Mm.
Okay. 1 sec.
He's from the past.
Gonna get the right die. I mean, yeah, he keeps slashing at it. He's literally by now is making a splosh into this thing, and there's significantly less of it. There's like a bit he chopped off that just he shoved to the side with his rapier before it melted away. But like his rapier is also clearly taking some damage, so he's not. It's becoming less and less effective. But I think if you applied some effort, there's not going to be much of that ooze left very soon.
If you reapplied yourself.
Yeah, if you really applied yourself.
Be better.
Talking about applying yourself, Gina.
Are there in the room? I'm still like shouting from the corner of the door to the ooze. Are there any weapons there?
No, there are not.
Because then I could have used those to sacrifice it. Like,
No, there's some more straw mats, and
Maybe you could throw some sewage at it.
some sandals.
some sandals.
No, not the sandals.
No.
Let's not get hasty.
No, true. No, I was thinking about picking up another weapon and not sacrificing my own weapons.
Yeah, I can understand that.
So I will just yell at it again. Because
Go
I'm
for it.
like,
I will make a saving throw.
What do you yell at it this
The
time?
ooze is vibrating some more. Give me a damage roll.
I will yell at it. Why won't you flush like a toilet? Because you're just ooze. I don't know. It's not good. But it does 4 damage. So
Hey, look at that. You feel like, this. You just found a frequency in your voice that seems to be really affecting this ooze. And it's like sort of almost melted into a puddle by now. But it's still like dangerous. But you've almost done it. You've almost made it into a kind
Is
of
it
a.
shrinking?
It's losing consistency, if that makes sense.
Oh,
Right.
it's
Right.
melting.
Yeah. Okay.
Awesome.
Next up, it's Marche.
Oh,
Because everyone else is dead.
Well, that didn't work before, did it? So, does anyone have a bucket? Perhaps. No. Okay.
No, I don't carry common items.
I make a fire. I make a fire against it again.
Okay.
With 24.
Versus armor class. Yeah.
Versus AC.
Yeah.
Ooh.
You chuck another potion. It splashes.
Woo!
It starts burning. How much burning, Elaine?
How much? But one burning.
It does nothing. It does not affect the ooze. The ooze's lighter consistency made it more liquidy. And the fire
just fizzled out.
fizzles out.
Bum.
Rogan, it's your turn.
Rogan's feeling kind of bad about the scorched bodies around him, but not bad enough to not have done it a second time. Rogan is now going to hack at the ooze with his battle axe.
Ooh, go for it.
He can afford another axe if this
Yeah,
one's,
that's true.
I'm going to use Bardic Inspiration.
Ooh.
So it's 14. Oh, no,
14.
sorry, I add strength to it, so it's 17.
Okay.
But I had to, it was a poor first throw, which is why I used my Bardic Inspiration.
Okay. So it's you hack into the ooze. Give me a damage roll.
Yeah. I need to learn better what my DA is. It's that one. Right. Okay, that is 12.
Yeah.
Hey, you hack that thing in half, and it just goes flump, right? And that
Floon. It says floon. Is
no
it?
flump,
Oh, okay.
flump.
Somebody
Ruin
owes
is
me
the
some
ooze.
armor.
Uh,
Chops it off.
Also, Rogan, do take note. You take a permanent -1 to damage rolls with your axe.
Until you get a new axe.
It's just corroded, and there's not much you can do about that. But good news, your enemies are dead. The ooze is dead, and now you find yourself in a filthy, disgusting room with a pile of acid and sulfur and bones, and some straw mats, and
Whose
a door,
idea was it to come down these sewers?
a door leading further.
Really not a fan of this.
The straw mat survived the ooze.
No, the straw mats are on the other side of the room.
I see. Okay.
It's a very thick weave. It's a very,
Rogan, are you okay? You don't look at your best.
what do you mean? I feel as strong as I ever have, while visibly kind of clutching at his chest that is kind of fizzling along the edges of the burn mark on the armor.
I'll walk up to Rogan and I will pat him on the back, like, "Oh, good job!" Like, a bit careful. Like, I didn't want to be weird, but then I will cure his wounds, hopefully. So I will. Let's see, 1d8. Oh, I cannot find my d8. Plus the spellcasting ability. Cure wounds +3, so that's 10.
10. Wow, that's back up to max HP. Oh, thank you.
Extremely good.
Thank you. That's an what a I don't know what happened, but I feel amazing.
Eris,
You
were
just-
you
you-
hurt?
No, I've never been patted on the back
Okay.
so powerfully in my whole life.
I'm completely fine, Marche.
Excellent. Good.
No, I am.
Good,
I'm
good,
completely
good,
fine.
good.
Is there anything salvageable from this sort of semi-acidic pile of organic and metal matter?
How much are you into melting things?
Ooh.
Zero.
0. Okay.
Little. Low interest in goo.
I understand that.
Can I squeeze
there-
up a bit of it and put it in a vase?
Elaine, can you? That is not Elaine. Sorry, Marche. Can you? That is a very good question. I would like for you to give me if you just spare
Might get a little bit, might burn your hands a bit.
second.
Well, you see, perhaps I could fashion something out of the toilet bowl because that seemed to not be disintegrating.
Ah, it's the old.
Quite as bad.
Personally, I wouldn't look to touch a toilet bowl, but to each their own.
Well, I mean, I've had worse jobs.
Could you give me an either an Arcana or a Nature check, please? Your choice.
I will choose either because they're both the same. 13.
13. Okay, so just knowing that you're dealing with something extremely acidic, you're a practiced alchemist.
I am.
So
I am, yes.
you will know that you need to, glass should be fine. There isn't a
I
problem.
have tongs.
But you've prepared your glass as well for such occasions, so you can definitely scoop some up and have some gray ooze matter.
Sweet.
Gray matter.
Grey matter.
And there was a lavatory beyond a small
Yes.
enclosed
What would
room.
you like out of the toilet?
Mainly to make sure it's sort of an enclosed room that doesn't have any other exits, or
There's a hole leading into wherever the ooze climbed out of.
but in a lavatory kind of way.
Yeah.
That's the limit of my curiosity.
Okay.
Aris also would probably trek back across the room and listen to the passage where we've gone, just in case we made enough noise that we attracted any attention.
Nope. Neither is there any noise coming from the door that leads further.
Then I guess potentially, are we comfortable to keep going?
Yeah, keep going.
I don't feel a great need to remain near the ooze toilet. No.
No, I don't blame you.
The ooze toilet.
I've seen some terrible restrooms in my life, but never anything like this.
I don't think it's going to get any better down here, though.
Onwards and upwards. That's what I say.
Or down, onwards and downwards. But yeah.
Well-
Okay, I'm going to try this door if nobody minds.
Okay, so
Feel free.
the door opens up onto another corridor, which immediately veers off to the right. So by now, if you imagine if you went up, then right, and then you're now going down, back down again, right? So you're going around in a circle, if that makes sense, geographically. So it's a
Maybe
further
what-
corridor
Towards
That-
Sleepy Goblin 2.
that leads further down. There's some stairs that lead downwards again, and which open up onto a big room. Threadbare curtains hang on the east wall of a long hall, in the middle of which a muscular half-orc in dingy robes stands with his foot on the chest of a male human with wavy red blonde hair. Fire burns around the orc's clenched fist, and his victim cries and squirms helplessly beneath him. Seated on a raised platform to the south is a nightmarish figure wearing black robes. It has large white eyes and rubbery purple skin, with 4 tentacles encircling its inhuman mouth. It cradles and gently caresses what looks like a disembodied brain with feet. What would you like to do?
Well,
Just to be clear, is this a space that I've sort of moved towards and I've seen this without hopefully alerting anybody?
Yes. Although,
So-
give me, you know what? I think your
Oh,
luck's run
no.
out by now. Give me a stealth
Oh
check.
no,
All of us?
there's no need.
There
It's
is a
fine.
need.
Let's just
Yeah,
assume.
Sorry, Red.
No, just Aris because he went ahead.
Okay.
Sorry, Red. How much do you like Floon? Would you say, just on like a scale of 1 to 10, just so I can kind of get a handle on how much you like this guy?
Aris, what have we got?
21, which I think is pretty good.
You rolled a 1, did you say?
20.
No,
21.
a
20.
Oh, 21. Right, okay. I was like, wow, that changes the situation drastically.
Which is pretty good, I think, a 1.
Yeah, I
It's a
think...
prime number.
Okay, I think you are unnoticed, yes. What would you like to do?
And my colleagues are just maybe a few steps behind me.
I guess Rogan is behind you because
Yeah.
if he just
Yeah, I would say that Rogan is probably behind enough to not make a noise. So I'll give Rogan. Oh, I don't know what's behind not enough to make a noise. What's this? 1 to 10, 20, 30. Yeah, just behind is fine.
and Raina must be next to Rogan, right?
Renner, yeah, Renner is
yeah.
yeah. Renner is next to Rogan. Yeah.
Okay.
I feel like this isn't something that I want to be even looking at just by myself. I'd rather turn around and sort of quietly beckon towards everyone to give an indication that something very important is ahead of us, and at the same time, looks like we just interrupted something. So I want to take a moment to listen to what's being said or see what's happening before just rushing in.
Well, mostly torture. There is,
Oh.
this orc going tell me where the Stone of Galore is. And the red-haired man going, I do not know. Please stop it, please. And more of that, as torture happens. The orc's clenching his fiery fist and putting his fist onto the body of the red-haired man, which clearly burns. And the red-haired man goes, ah, ah.
Standard torture.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And there's just these two folks in the room plus
plus the tentacly faced purple thing sitting there observing everything and cradling and caressing a disembodied brain with
as you would
legs.
I mean
as you would,
all,
Sure.
we've all done that.
Yes.
Are there any other exits?
So this is a large hall and there are plenty exits to all sides.
Hey.
I would say there's at least a couple of exits to your left, and there's a large wooden door to your right in the middle of the hallway.
Huh.
Is Eris still close for me to say something to him?
Yeah.
Okay, so I want to be like, what if I try to charm the guy, just walk in, pretend it's my buddy, and convince him it's not Renner. Renner needs to stay back then, but maybe we have a chance to convince them, like, hey, this is not the guy you're looking for. Just come with me and I will get you Renner or something. And then we take him out.
One hell of a bard.
I think that the idea of a distraction is quite good. What do you think is the thing that happens next?
I don't know.
I do like the idea of distracting them.
I mean, we know he has the wrong person, so.
I mean, currently you have the advantage of surprise, Aris, because you have remained unnoticed, and they are not aware of your presence.
How well lit is this room?
There's bright sconces lighting the entirety of the hallway, but there's a sort of a it goes brighter towards the sconces and then dims as it goes further, if that makes sense.
I wonder if there's a chance for me to sneak in unseen and take up a position somewhere before.
I'll let you do that. You don't need to make a roll for that because
Okay.
you gave me a 21. You can get at least, I'd say, halfway along the room before you feel like you will, like, it's just a room. There's not many places you can hide. There's a couple of, if you go along your left side, there's a couple of like little passageways that lead into various places that you don't know where they go, but there's a couple of like corridors you could sneak behind, but if you go too close, they will, and like you'll just be straighting like like a duck, a standing duck.
How far are they from the door that we are at, and how far are they away from ours? Like how big's this room? How
40,
far is the
40 foot?
40 foot. So
About
are
40
they
foot, maybe
they're
35.
They're both about 40 foot away.
The
The man with the brain cat and the half orc.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
I say, Gina, you couldn't project a singing, could you, and make it sound like it's coming from yonder, so that they think we're coming from the other side and we can sneak in.
It would have to be the large wooden door on the right side because Aris is on the left side, so you wouldn't.
How
I
far
shouldn't give
away
you
is that
tips.
door?
That door is from you. So let's say 30 foot.
Yeah, so no, then I cannot do anything with the door.
Drat. Well, I enjoy your singing anyway, even if it doesn't project.
But I like
You're
I like
still a goblin,
Gina's
right?
idea.
Oh, yes.
Oh yeah.
So
But
you can join me
well-
while walking in.
Okay.
If there
So-
is some kind
I
of
need to be in 30 feet range to do the
Oh.
charm.
But I
So,
like the idea of
Meanwhile,
a
Floon is
distraction.
still being tortured.
Well, yes.
That's a high concern for us, I'm sure, as we quietly discuss our plan.
Okay, can I sneak inside?
Yeah, you can
I'm
absolutely.
just gonna
Yeah.
sneak. Is stealth? That's a 14.
Okay. Let me see if that is enough. Mm-hmm.
Mm,
You're sort of going tip, 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 and then you stand still because the thing with the tentacles in its face just sort of turns its head, looks to you, and a really strange sensation washes over you. You're not sure quite what's going on, but you feel almost unwell. You've not quite lost your senses or anything like that, but there's a certain sort of malaise that's taken over you, just from a mere look of this thing. And it turns its head to the half-orc that's torturing Floon, and the half-orc goes, "I understand." And he turns towards you, Gina, and his fist is still flaming. It looks like whatever's flaming in his fist, he's about to chuck that at you. Meanwhile, the thing with the tentacles coming out of his mouth just puts the brain with 4 legs on the floor, and that brain starts scurrying towards you.
oh, no.
Please roll initiative, everyone.
Oh, no.
I'm sorry.
I'm gonna definitely try and
No.
shoot an arrow in the shadows. I feel like we
Oh,
might be
dear.
off more than we can shoot.
That would be 7.
Can I ask one thing?
Yes.
Before we do initiative.
Yes.
So I was right next to Gina.
Well, she
right?
sneaked further, though.
Oh, she's okay.
Yeah,
Yeah,
So
because
she's
I needed.
not
I
Okay,
just
yeah,
need. I
okay,
needed
no,
to do
fair enough.
something.
Fair enough.
Trying to get to the door to
So I
sing a
couldn't see
song
what
out
she
of the
was
door.
doing. That's all right.
Charm the flamey boy. But
What's Renner's initiative as well, I guess?
Yeah. I'll sort that out. Thank you very much for reminding me.
Me and Renner are hanging back at the minute. The stealth game's not Rogan's strong suit. He was like, Renner, how well do you know this Floon character? You close friends? Because Renner doesn't seem overly concerned about
Very
the torture
close
that
friends.
his friend's going through at this point.
He is concerned. He's just, joining in with the plan and, trying to see what
He's
you folks are
following.
going to
He's
do.
following our lead.
Yeah. Absolutely.
That's his mistake. That's his mistake. But fair enough.
The dog is very unhappy.
It's probably
I don't
the
know why.
thought about the brain
Gina's
on
also
legs
very
running along.
unhappy.
Oh, why is Gina unhappy?
I don't want brains running at me.
Nobody does.
I think out of all of the things that we've come across so far, Rogan would probably prefer the acid ooze to a brain on 4 legs running.
Okay, who's got the highest initiative out of all of you?
I have 8.
13.
I've got 6.
7.
Okay,
13.
13 for Aris.
What's Renner got? Maybe Renner's the winner.
Then someone said 8. That's Marche.
Indeed.
Rogan with 7.
Rogan with 7.
And Gina with 6.
And Gina with
You had the
6.
tentacle person.
Right.
And you're like, "Ugh."
Renner charges into the room. He spends his turn running towards the wizard, trying to protect Gina from the wizard. That's Renner, but he doesn't get there. I mean, he gets towards the wizard, but he just about got there. But before he even manages to do anything, the wizard chucks like a firebolt at you. So you're gonna have to deal with that. Which is 12 versus armor class.
I've got 13.
Hey, nice.
So yeah, you just about managed to get out of that firebolt, and you're fine. Isn't that nice?
That's Whisker.
Very nice.
Who's it next?
Next up,
Brains
Is it
like
Brains?
it's Aris.
Oh, it's Aris.
Next up, it's Aris. Yes.
From the shadows, I would like to notch an arrow and fire. I was hoping things wouldn't go this way, but never mind. Shoot at the fine person who just threw a fireball, and hopefully they don't know where.
not
I
the
am.
evil worm face, the fireball
Or the brain.
Or
Oh
the
my.
brain.
I mean, none of these things. I'm not a big fan of any of these things, right?
No.
But I feel like he's the most obviously dangerous right now, and particularly watching Marche throw exploding things as well. Like, exploding things are usually bad.
True.
Kaboom.
Yeah. Go for it.
Would this count as a sneak attack?
Yeah,
if it
you
hits?
were hidden. You were hidden. You have advantage.
I'm extremely happy about that. That's 17.
Yeah, that's a hit.
You got advantage though. Did you roll twice?
Oh right, well, just in case. That's better.
Okay.
But if the other one hits, that hits.
Yep. You're good. That's an arrow flying into a wizard, an orc wizard.
All right, so with an extra d6, that is 8 plus 3 is 11.
That's
That's
a
not bad for a sneak
that's
shot.
a dead orc wizard.
Oh, excellent.
Well
All right, that went a
done.
lot easier than I expected. Great.
Next up, it's Marche. Marche, what are you gonna do?
I would like to please try and have it. The brain is the size of a brain, right?
Yep,
It's
with
not like a
legs.
hippo brain or whatever.
No. Yeah.
I would like.
How
to
much
try and-
acid did you get in a little pot? A little bit.
It's only a little brain, right? I would like to try and grab the brain,
Oh my god.
holding it hostage.
I'm sorry. You are not anywhere near close to the brain yet, because once again, big hallway, right? So you can
I also
get
think that's a good thing.
if you want to get right next
the
towards the brain,
Yeah.
you would have to spend your action.
What, my entire action?
Yeah,
Whole turn.
yeah.
All right. So then I spend my entire action, like trying to make as big a distraction as I possibly can. Right.
Okay.
It's going hi, like this, like
That's a free action. You can do something else on top of that. If
Oh
I'm right.
really?
Yeah.
Okay.
You're
Yeah.
a little goblin dancing around in a corner.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Shouting.
Ha ha ha! Would you
That-
like to buy some sandals or something? I don't know how. Goblin,
I mean, that's
like-
fine, but
That's my third goblin voice. Whatever.
but that doesn't take up
Yeah.
your entire turn. You can still move if you want to.
I
You can
can.
still.
Okay, so
do a
I
thing.
move as far as I possibly can, doing that, trying to take as much heat off everyone else
Yeah.
as, particularly off Floon is more to the point. Like
Floon's on the floor currently.
Yeah,
Going.
but-
"Ah."
yeah, but as long as he's not being tortured, that's my sort of goal, is to distract everyone. And then, am I anywhere near the purple fella?
I mean, so imagine a big hallway, right? The purple fella was sitting on a almost like not a throne, but
toilet.
like kind of like a chair, you know, in the middle of the hallway, but towards the other end.
Okay, so I'm not
right?
anywhere near that. So am I? So what my question is really is, am I within 120 feet?
Yes, easily.
Yeah. Okay. All right then. So I chuck a firebolt at the purple fella. I
Okay, go
guess.
for it.
The perpetrator.
Oh, no, I'd miss.
It
no.
Eight.
No, change my
crashes
mind.
by its feet and fizzles out, and
But for causing further distraction, hopefully.
Hopefully.
That was sort of my goal anyway. So
next
never
up is
mind.
Rogan.
All right. Rogan is gonna move. So the brain is still about 40 feet away. It started moving, dropped
Yeah,
to the floor,
yeah,
started
yeah.
scuttling along, but it's far.
Yeah, it's far.
So I'm gonna start like walking with purpose
Uh huh.
towards towards the trajectory of the brain as well.
Mm-hmm.
And I'll go 30 feet basically. I'll
Cool.
get myself ready.
Mhm.
Can I as part of my action, can I like be more defensively ready?
You can do a thing where you say to me, like, I would like to chop the brain when it when it comes within range of me or something like that.
Yeah.
If you
But
specify,
if I can't reach it at the minute,
is
and
that part of
the-
5th edition? I think it is.
everything else will get a turn before me. Like I feel like
Yeah.
I should be able to just like take a defensive stance. That's what I'm looking to do. Like I'm making progress, but I'm not
Like
throwing an
delaying
attack.
action.
I'm just
Readying
looking
an
to
action.
I'm just looking to make a defensive kind of stance in preparation for the ensuing battle.
Yeah, so I keep forgetting, like I keep getting confused between editions because I GM'd other editions so much,
Yeah.
and I forget whether you can ready an action to say like, oh, when this happens, I do a thing.
Is
But-
moving
I think
is
you
moving
can.
is moving
But for free.
30 feet my whole turn?
No,
is that everything
no,
I can
no.
do?
So
So
no,
if I could
definitely
do
not.
I could do an attack actually by that train of thought. I could do like defensive readiness as well.
Like you can defensively ready yourself, or you can say like, yeah, I'll chop the next thing that comes in front of me or something like that.
Would that just not happen naturally on my turn?
No, it would
Oh.
happen on their turn, out of turn, as a
Well, I'll
reaction.
do that then. Yeah, so I'll ready. I'm going over there to hit it. Like so, my preference would be to just hit first and ask questions later.
I think that sounds good. Okay, so you do that, and next up it's Gina.
How close is the brain?
The brain. You're closer, so you made it like halfway across the hallway before it noticed you. So I'd say that the brain is about 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 25 feet away.
I will walk up to it and stab it with my rapier.
Nice.
Go for it.
That's a 17.
That's you've got your hooks into it. So give me a damage roll.
This is the sharpest critique.
That's
she's thrown out
10
yet.
because I rolled an 8 on my d8.
Nice.
Hey, wow, you
Wow.
literally stabbed that brain. It's still alive and it's still going.
How many legs
You know,
does it
like its
have?
legs are juddering around. Sorry,
How many legs?
4 legs.
4 legs.
4 legs. So it
The
walks
average
Not a
of
like
normal
a
amount.
quadruped.
A
right?
normal amount of legs
Yeah.
of a brain.
Of course.
Yeah.
Can I just
No.
take a second just to say how much I enjoy that when Gina attacks things, the reaction is always blah, 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 blah.
It seems to be
It's
that.
yeah.
Yeah. But like, okay, first of all, obviously 4 legs, because if it had 2 legs, it would just look like a chicken, right?
Chicken brain.
Yeah, chicken brain,
Yeah.
right? So it's a quadruped
Chicken
brain,
and a
yes.
brain.
And second, I mean, it doesn't make any noise because it doesn't have a mouth, but its legs are still obviously wobbling in response to it being stabbed.
Stamp once for pain.
Yeah. I mean, you can tell that this thing is not good. There's no way that a brain with legs is gonna do anything but seriously
if it's got
ruin
no
you.
mouth,
Huh?
what's it gonna do? If it's got no mouth, what's it gonna?
Static
Like-
range
Like-
shock you.
Blah, blah, just like be really horrible and gross and just touch your leg.
The purple thing with tentacles coming out of its face is gonna take its turn.
Oh no.
It stands up and floats away through the large double door. With its wave of a hand, it motions and the door just goes whoosh, and opens. And he disappears into the darkness. And next is the brain. Gina, you stab the brain, which is okay, so give me a second here.
What will the brain do?
I thought the purple guy would come after his pet brain, so I'm glad he left.
He doesn't
I-
care about his pet brain.
I'm not
He's
sure
gone.
the purple fella leaving is necessarily a sign of success.
Well, he
maybe
could have shot at me, so I'm happy he left.
we might want to wrap things up and get out of here as soon as possible.
I'm trying to stab this brain in half, so
You do an excellent job.
thank you.
I mean,
Rewards are encouraged.
I'm glad I didn't try and hold the brain hostage because like, he clearly doesn't even care about it.
No. But you
Were
could
you thinking
wait,
it was
we
kind of
could-
like a
we could
chicken
not
and your
steal
chicken
the
brain? Keep it under your
Okay,
arm.
Emma, the brain jumps up at you,
Ugh.
right? And
Yeah.
just sort of grabs onto you. Could you give me a intelligence saving throw, please?
Uh-oh.
Indeed.
That's a 14.
It's a 14.
Yes.
Okay. You felt something that sensation you got from before. It was suddenly overwhelming. It was like you were losing your sense of self almost, like, and you had to, like, you couldn't see, you couldn't hear, and suddenly you were in this dark void and you have to, like, no, I'm Gina, my name is Gina, you know, like almost going like, who am I? Wait, no, I know who I am, right? So after that terrifying moment, we're gonna move on to Renner Never Ember, who's gonna charge at that brain and start hacking it.
Don't hack my face.
Yeah, he hit, so he's gonna roll some damage, which is not great because his sword is melty. So, oh yeah, he can do that again with his rapier, so that's nice.
Swish, swish.
He's
Yeah, that was a
Okay.
better sound effect. Yeah, well done.
gonna do it again.
Swoosh.
Oh, hey, that's a crit.
Swoosh. Renner's stepping up.
He is stepping up.
I guess he does like Floon.
I mean, we saw what you could do in the yawning portal, didn't we? So
That's nothing. That's
Renner wasn't in
Renner?
the
did
portal.
he come back
No.
with us? He came back with us to the yawning portal.
Renner's
We didn't
the-
fight there.
Renner was kidnapped.
Did we not fight again there when we went back there?
No,
we
you
didn't.
did not.
Ah,
No.
Okay.
no, we had
No.
we had breakfast.
Oh god.
Okay, he
Oh
hacked.
yeah, I always confuse those two.
He
si-
properly
similar.
hacked at that brain. So he got a few good hits into it, but the brain still seemed to have clawed itself onto Gina, and not leaving yet. Next is Aris.
Do we still have on the floor in the middle of the hall our friend that we are after?
Yes, he's sort of going.
Oon.
Don't hurt me anymore.
My first thought then is to sort of tuck my bow back away where it was and run over and help him up. Because a speedy exit, I don't know if this guy's going to come back with reinforcements or what, but grab this guy and immediately sort of just look him over and see how he is and see if is he like horribly wounded or is he just stunned?
He's singed and burned, and he's saying, "Please, I do not know anything about this stone. Leave me alone. I'm not Renner."
That's great. Don't worry. We're getting you out of here. Let's go. And I'll try and sort of help him to his feet and, put him.
Renner's over here with us. Look.
Yeah, look, we've got you. We're here to rescue you. We got your message from Ben Kenobi. Let's go.
Cool.
He's very confused, but he's like, "Oh, thank you. I don't. What else would you say in that situation, right?
No, he's probably been having a bad couple of days, I bet.
I imagine so. Marche.
Can I go over to where Aris and Floon are
Yes.
and just try and cure any wounds that Floon has got from all this torturing? I assume he's got some wounds from the torturing.
You definitely can. Yeah, he definitely has, and you can definitely do that.
Lovely. Oh no, I don't have to. Sorry, I don't know why I have to. What I'm doing.
Is the brain on
6
my
plus-
mouth?
9.
On your
got a brain
like
just on your face.
right here, right here.
Oh, like an epaulette. Like a brain.
Does not feel good.
9.
9.
Healing for 9 hit points.
You can see that Floon is reinvigorated, and he, like, as soon as he sort of comes to, he goes, "That thing is evil. Kill it now." He points at the brain.
Okay.
His accent keeps changing.
Yeah.
He's in
Well,
he's in shock.
he's in shock.
he
Yeah.
can talk
Yeah.
to us,
Doesn't know
fair.
who he is. Doesn't
That's
know
fair.
who he is.
His mind has been messed with properly.
Get this
Maybe
brain
that's what
off
happened to
me.
me. Who's next?
Next up, we have Rogan.
I'm going to attempt to help my good friend Gina, who has a disgusting brain perched on her. I'm going to try attacking it.
I think that's sensible.
With your axe, just smashing at.
I've got a very, as you've seen previously, I've got a very exact swing with my axe.
Let's
Nothing
hope
could
so.
possibly go wrong. I know my limits. All right, that is 18. Doing
That's
well
a
today on the
that's a
rolls.
hit against the brain. Yeah.
All right,
Clap,
gotta roll
clap,
my
clap,
attack
clap.
damage then. That would be a 1. I went at 1 plus like 6.
Okay, you
That's
kill the
right.
brain.
Yay!
You chop it off. The legs
Rogan.
are no longer
Rogan.
part of the brain.
Rogan's
It's
been
just
waiting for the moment.
It's
that's
just some
cheering.
legs on Gina's arm right here.
What kind of legs, by the way? Are we talking like
Chicken legs.
chicken legs?
Yeah,
or-
like no, more like okay. Imagine purple frog legs, but stodgier and musclier,
Yeah.
and with claws.
Ooh.
That
I have
Marche,
to
do you
say,
want these legs?
I really don't like these sewers.
well,
Sooner we get out of
thankfully,
here, the better.
you have found Floon Blackmar.
Yeah, can I take the legs?
Yes, you can take the legs. Obviously.
Thank you, Gina, for
Later.
reminding me of that. That's a
No, I want these off,
Splendid
so
idea.
and then we can go.
Should we do this? Shall we, now that we found our chap? Unless anyone feels some burning curiosity to explore further, we should probably, escape
Renner
and
hugs
regroup.
Floon and just goes, "I am so glad you are okay. Thank you, Floon. Thank you, Renner. I have confused. I am so confused. My brain. They did things to me. I don't understand. His accent really keeps changing.
But they
and-
accused him of being someone he wasn't. So
Well,
he probably tried pretending to be that person, then not being that person. Tried everything.
Anyway, after I'm gonna speed this up as we're nearing our end time. But after searching the entire premises, you will find a little bit of stuff. 2 potions of healing
Ooh.
on the dead wizard, including 16 dragons, 82 shards, and 250 nibs.
Wow.
If someone
was
could keep track of that. I think
16
Ro-
dragons?
16 dragons, 82
82
shards,
And 215.
and 250 nibs.
Dragons,
Mm.
shards.
Could maybe get some new armor with this loot.
Yeah.
Once you
I
look,
would.
once you look through the big door where the purple tentacly thing went, you find. I'll just briefly cap up, and sorry to interrupt. A stone pillar in the middle of an empty room, carved with a small symbol, a perfect circle with 10 equidistant spokes radiating outward from its circumference. In the middle of the circle is a smaller circular indentation that bears a passing resemblance to a lidless eye. There's a heat emanating from it, but it doesn't seem to be active in any way.
Ooh.
The purple tentacle thing is nowhere to be found. If you venture further along that way, you will find the other goblin sentry that you have sneaked past.
Sure.
That's pretty much it for this entire sewer
I think Gina had a
escapade.
question.
Yes, please, Gina.
No, I was just trying to say that maybe Eris and Rogan should each take a healing potion because we are. Marche and I
Yes,
can heal
I think
as
that's
well.
Smart. Yeah.
That makes sense.
I would happily have a healing potion. Not that I'm prone to ever get hurt, but just as a keepsake.
Sure.
Rogan, do you remember that time you had that enormous fly on your face?
That was funny, right? Marche?
Only
hilarious,
I
only
should
in
write
my
a song about
nightmares.
it.
Only in
Then
my
you tried-
nightmares do I remember
You
the
tried to
fly.
headbang it away.
Success. Did it remove itself from my face? I
No,
believe it did.
no, no, it didn't. You You just looked ridiculous. It was hilarious.
After a long trek back through the sewers, well, not back through the sewers. Basically, you do find an exit that leads from here back out onto a small house where a family of halflings sees you emerge from the cellar and goes, ah! Ah!
Oh,
You find out a lot about them. They are the Peabodys. They're quite nice. They had no idea that there was a secret passageway.
They're the what?
The Peabodys.
Peabody.
We're the Peabodys. That's their last name.
Their name.
Oh, right.
Yeah.
Is that what they said? They went, with
Yeah.
Peabody.
No, well, no. You had a brief chat with them. You explained what's going on. You know, you had a conversation. They offered you a cup of tea. They asked you to leave pretty soon because you smelled pretty bad. Jeffrey Peabody asked for an autograph because he'd never
Jeffrey
seen
Peabody.
adventurers before.
classic Jeffrey.
You then made your way back across the dock ward, all the way to the yawning portal, where as soon as Wolotham Gadam, who was having a big thirsty drink, saw Floon, he was like, ah! And ran as fast as he could and just hugged Floon, and then immediately unhugged Floon and went, ah.
Yeah.
And he then looks at you and says, thank you so much for returning Floon to me. About your payment, I must confess, I haven't been paid my royalties lately.
Oh.
So I'm finding myself a little bit short on the spendables, but that's okay. That's okay. I have something even better.
Oh.
Uh-oh.
I was-
The royalties for your music for me?
I was working lately on a book called Volo's Guide to Spirits, and for a temporary residence, I've rented a truly magnificent historical building known all across Waterdeep that has sadly fallen into disrepair. The famous Troll Skull Manor, which used to be Marche, you've heard of Troll Skull Manor. It used to
indeed
be-
I have.
Used to be a famous pub. As far as you know, it's a wreck and a ruin right now. But you know,
Yes, it's sad. It was a lovely place. I remember going there as a young boy. Made my name there.
yeah, you
Can I
remember
just
it?
Can I quickly check?
Yeah.
Does Marche still look like a little goblin?
No, the spell has
Now
worn
it's
off.
passed.
Yeah.
But now I walk past it frequently, and it's all ramshackly and it's sad.
Well, it still has. I've been inside it many times. It still has a lot of potential. And guess what? You are more than welcome to the deed,
Oh, the deed.
to Troll Skull Manor.
I feel that this is. Can I do an inside?
Yeah,
If it-
you
there's-
can.
Good idea.
Yeah.
That's a really good idea.
Right.
Oh no. Okay, so that's a 7.
So you.
I mean, this is a fantastic historical building. Why wouldn't you want something? You know, like it's your own tavern. This is great.
So if
What
I
could go
peep
wrong?
at my Waterdeep map, which area of town is this in?
Right. So, Troll Skull Manor is. Just give me a second. I'm gonna open up my book.
It's the first of many properties I'm sure we'll own around the Waterdeep region.
I've got to say, Aris being like financially challenged for a while lately, like just a place to properly
Yeah. So this
have a home
is
base.
this is in Troll Skull Alley on the North Ward.
Oh, okay. I mean, that's not a bad area of town, right?
That is not a bad area of town.
I would like to make a history check
Yes.
on this.
Yes.
14.
You remember the Troll Skull Manor was a tavern that was run by an elf called Lith. You don't know what happened to Lith or why the tavern shut, but it was a successful tavern, and many people still remember its name and respect that name.
Okay. I share that information. I think it's a
Would being-
wonderful idea
So we could be in adventures and opening up a tavern then.
Oh yes.
Why not both?
let's.
Gina could put on a show on a nightly basis.
Tell
That's
you
a good
what,
idea.
to seal the deal, says Floon Blackmar, not Floon Blackmar, sorry, Voletham Gedan, I will also, as a renowned expert and author of Volo's Guide to Waterdeep, since some of you I can see are clearly new to the city, I will give you a grand tour next time we meet.
Wow.
I do you better, Wolfen. Why don't you write down the royalties of letting me play songs about your book, like the audio form, like an audio book, like we discussed before we went on this journey.
An audible deal.
An audible.
I'm sorry, someone else write? No, that's, I just can't allow that.
No, it's not writing. I will spread your stories throughout the land with song. But I don't want to have you sue me for singing your book.
I will have
I
to
love that
think
idea
about
of
that.
I love the idea of Waterdeep that a lot of bards are worried about copyright infringement.
It's a serious.
I tell you what. If you were so kind, take a rest and a shower, please. I will arrange.
Rude.
I will arrange a meeting in the castle ward tomorrow at noon at the courthouse with the magister, and we will be able to complete the transfer of the deed. And whilst we're there with the magister, we can discuss this book deal you are proposing that I don't quite understand, because normally I write the book and then I get the money.
You could pen my great deeds in battle. Gina could sing them throughout the land.
That was not what I
Already I've seen many a great battle.
We'll discuss it tomorrow.
Fantastic.
They have featured
I
books.
hand out my I stick out my hand so he has to shake on it.
Tomorrow with the magistrate and documents.
Yes, hello.
I'm like looking at my hand like shake it. My dirty sewer hand.
Yeah. Why is he not shaking your
I'll
sewer
see you
hand?
tomorrow.
That's so rude.
I'll see you tomorrow.
Okay, bye.
I think, friends, this is a wonderful idea. You know, as we have a saying here in Waterdeep that every good adventure begins in a tavern, and we will be in a tavern.
With that look
They're
of confusion
unimpressed.
on everyone's faces,
Oh,
we're
look
going to
sad.
call an end to tonight's session and an end to chapter 1. We will return with chapter 2 next week. Please tune in on Saturday, 8 p.m. as per usual. That's every week. And for those of you who are watching on YouTube, the next episode, as always, will be up on Monday. Thank you, everyone, for watching. I hope you had a very good time, and I hope this was a satisfying conclusion to fun in the sewers.
I mean, I got little brain legs, so I'm happy.
And ooze, grey matter.
Gross.
I'm unscathed.
I mean,
I am.
that's a win, isn't it? Really?
Yes.
No sucking
Rogan
flies on your
may have caused the acid-based death of 2 people.
He
He
did.
won't worry about it.
No, he won't.
Thank you, everybody, so much for watching.
Thank you.
See you next week.
Bye-bye.
Bye.